Hi everyone, this is Neel Raithatha, also known as the Wax Whisperer. Thank you for joining me in my latest video. I have a couple of patients for you in this video, and this is patient 1, and we are performing earwax removal in their right ear. And this earwax extends from the entrance of the patient's ear canal all the way to their eardrum. And as you can see, the earwax is matted. There's a lot of loose hair strands in there. And these hairs are hairs that were previously protruding from the outer part of the ear canal, the cartilaginous portion. You can see some of them still around the edge. And these hairs should only be found in the outer third of the ear canal. If they're found any deeper, we've got to ask ourselves why that is. And the most common causes for these hairs to be deeper in the ear is if a patient is trimming the hairs around the ears. These hairs can quite easily then fly into the deeper parts of the ear. And also if someone's using a cotton bud and you're almost plucking the hairs out of these ears as you are circulating inside the ear with the cotton bud and then pushing it further in. The purpose of these hairs, there are several functions. They are there to help to filtrate the air, so any dust or dirt or pollen that's entering the ear. These hairs help to purify the air and capture any foreign particles that shouldn't be inside the ear. Also, these hair follicles, which is connected to the dermis layer of the skin, which is the middle section of the skin, we have what we call sebaceous glands, and sebaceous glands secrete an oily lipid secretion called sebum, and we also have this on our scalp. And sebum is made up of different organic compounds such as squalene, cholesterols, alcohols, long chains of saturated and unsaturated fatty acids. And sebum helps to protect the outer layer of skin, the epidermis layer. So from the hair follicles, the sebaceous glands secrete sebum, and sebum travels up the hair strand to the surface, where it then makes contact with the ear canal wall, and this lipid oily secretion is then dissipated and it naturally coats the ear canal like a thin veneer, including the outermost layer of the eardrum. And also in the dermis layer we have ceruminous glands which secrete an oily sweat, and these come up pores to the surface of the ear canal, and they too, like sebum, line the ear canal, protects the outer layer of skin. They're slightly acidic, so the acidity helps to inhibit bacterial fungal growth. The acidity also acts like a natural insect repellent, believe it or not. And being oily and lipid in structure, it helps to repel external moisture so it doesn't penetrate the skin, so the skin doesn't become macerated. And it also helps for the skin to retain its internal moisture, so it prevents it from drying out. So it's got several functions. So you can see it's quite a lot of hairs, and these hairs do make it a lot more difficult to remove wax because it forms like a matrix, a spider's web, where the wax then can attach itself to, making it just a bit more difficult to remove. Now these oils, so the sebum, this fatty oil, and the oily sweat secreted by the ceruminous glands, they ultimately then amalgamate alongside dead skin cells in the ear, and also some of these loose hairs, to form earwax. So earwax is completely organic, full of organic compounds. So dead skin, sebum, and the oily sweat. That's the patient's eardrum. So it's nice and visible. It's just a bit of soft wax just at the entrance. We're just going to mop this away. They have got quite a narrow entrance, which is possibly another reason why this patient's getting a wax impaction. The wax can't naturally migrate. So this is patient 2, and this is of their left ear. And similar to patient 1, this wax plug extends all the way from the entrance to the eardrum. They also have a lot of hairs at the entrance of the ear, but they're not as matted into the wax as patient 1. So the wax is a bit sticky, and I'm just taking away the more lateral surface of wax there. And the idea is to just detach it from the floor of the ear canal and slowly wriggle it out. See, the wax is separating into little bits. So to the right, that's the first bend, and the bend to the left where we are now, that's the second bend. And it's in between the first and second bend. We call that the isthmus, that the ear canal narrows, and quite often that's the root cause of a wax buildup as it's travelling through the isthmus. Now this patient has got a small bony spur on the posterior canal wall. You can just see it there, I've just zoomed in. It's nothing to be concerned about. If it's soft, then we need to get that further investigated, but it's probably just a little small osteoma, which is just a bone spur that sometimes can develop there. The middle section of the ear canal is prone to developing bony protrusions, bone spurs. One type here is called exostosis, also known as surface ear. So if you're exposed to cold water or cold air, the middle section of the ear canal, the bony part, can, as a result, develop 3 large protrusions. The first being around 12 o'clock, the second around 3 or 4, and the third about 9 o'clock. And the process behind that is called periosteum refrigeration. So the bony part of the ear canal is lined with a very thin layer of skin, in just the epidermis layer, and in between the skin and the bone you've got periosteum, which is what supplies the bone with all the nutrients and oxygen it needs. And when the periosteum gets cold, the blood vessels within the periosteum, they dilate, and that just stimulates bony growth. So that's the root cause behind surface ear. The eardrum's nice and healthy. Just having a quick zoom in. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. Take care, keep well, and speak soon. Bye.